Welcome to Philosophy, the Art of Life. Let me ask you, how often do you feel torn between doing what's right and giving in to the emotions that pull at you? It's a universal struggle, one that slips into the quiet moments of our lives, whether in heated arguments, high-stakes decisions, or even in the aftermath of betrayal. Today, we're peeling back the layers of this tension through the lens of Batman, Gotham's Dark Knight. But his story is not just about capes and crime, it's about the deep human battle between the head and the heart, balancing moral conviction and emotional chaos. Let's uncover how this timeless conflict resonates with all of us. Batman is more than a hero. He is a force of resilience, standing against a world teetering on chaos. But behind the mask and cape lies something deeper, as he is a man scarred by tragedy and relentlessly striving to right the wrongs of his past. His story isn't just one of crime fighting, but rather a tale of enduring pain and turning loss into purpose. At the heart of his story lies an unrelenting question: is Batman truly guided by justice, or does vengeance lurk in the shadows of his actions? Psychology tells us that our brains are wired to react emotionally before logic takes over, a phenomenon called the emotional hijack. This explains why intense emotions like anger or grief can cloud even the strongest moral convictions. Batman's inner struggle embodies this battle between the limbic system, which drives impulsive emotional responses, and the prefrontal cortex, which governs rational decision-making. This psychological conflict transforms him from a mere superhero into a vivid representation of humanity's constant battle, as it is a fight to balance moral conviction with the powerful emotions that threaten to steer us away from our ideals. To unravel this, let's turn to Immanuel Kant, the philosopher who established duty as the foundation of morality. Kant argued that true justice is not swayed by personal feelings, but grounded in universal principles that apply to everyone equally. He believed that morality requires us to act with integrity, even when it contradicts our instincts or desires. This perspective challenges us to treat every individual with dignity, regardless of circumstances, as it is a concept that demands both discipline and unwavering commitment to what is right. It's this idea of placing principle above emotion that resonates so strongly in Batman's moral code. And this naturally leads us to a deeper understanding of justice and vengeance. They may seem like two opposing forces, yet they are often intertwined in ways that challenge our understanding of morality. Justice is the pursuit of fairness and objective commitment to what is right for all. It seeks to restore balance without bias or personal gain. Vengeance, on the other hand, is deeply personal, driven by emotions like anger and grief, and often seeks satisfaction through retribution. In Batman's story, this conflict is palpable. His refusal to kill, even when facing adversary like the Joker, represents his dedication to justice. It is a decision rooted in principle, not emotion, and aligns with Immanuel Kant's belief that morality must transcend personal feelings. However, the temptation of vengeance looms large, especially when the pain of his past resurfaces. This tension between justice and vengeance highlights the struggle to act rationally when emotions are at their peak. This duality is something we all experience. Think about moments when you've been wronged. Do you aim to resolve the issue fairly, or does the desire for revenge take hold? Recognizing when emotions drive your decisions is crucial. The challenge is to pause, reflect, and act in ways that uphold your values. Batman's story reminds us that while vengeance is tempting, justice brings lasting benefits. Personally, choosing justice helps us develop self-discipline and emotional resilience. It fosters inner peace by aligning our actions with our principles. On a social level, justice builds trust and mutual respect, creating communities where fairness prevails over cycles of retaliation. By committing to justice, we elevate not only ourselves but also those around us, promoting a culture of integrity and understanding. This foundation of justice leads us to the story of David Green, a man whose life was forever changed by one pivotal moment. Building a sense of justice begins with deliberate and reflective choices, especially in moments of profound emotional conflict. Let us hear the story about David Green, a devoted father, had everything he cherished ripped away when his family fell victim to a senseless and brutal attack. The justice system, meant to protect and uphold fairness, failed him completely, letting the perpetrator walk free. Consumed by grief and a rage so potent it felt like fire coursing through his veins, David stood at an excruciating crossroads. One path glittered with the dark promise of vengeance, well as visceral and fiery path that seemed inevitable, drawing him with its allure of swift retribution and the illusion of restoring balance, yet threatening to strip away his morality and inner peace. The other path was justice, which offered a quieter and more disciplined journey that demanded he rise above his pain to advocate for systemic reform and accountability. However, at first, the allure of vengeance was overwhelming. David could feel it calling to him in his darkest moments, whispering that justice could never be served unless he took matters into his own hands. Yet, every time he imagined that path, he saw not closure, but a future filled with regret, leading to a descent into the same darkness that had consumed those who had wronged him. Slowly, he began to see a different way forward. The path of justice was neither easy nor comforting, but it was one that would honor the memory of his family and uphold the values they had cherished together. David began his journey by speaking out, finding others who had suffered similar injustices and giving them a voice. He rallied his community to demand accountability and systemic reforms, transforming his grief into a force for change. Along the way, he discovered a strength he hadn't known he possessed, as well as the resilience to keep fighting, not out of anger, but out of hope. This transformation didn't erase his pain, but it gave it purpose. Each step he took away from vengeance brought him closer to a legacy of integrity and compassion. His actions inspired others to rise above anger and despair, and fostering a renewed belief in fairness and accountability. This fight between justice and vengeance mirrors the eternal conflict faced by Batman. Throughout his legacy, Batman has stood as a figure who resists the primal urge for vengeance even when the pain is personal and overwhelming. Like David, he confronts adversaries who test his principles, yet he continually chooses to rise above the temptation of retribution, proving that true strength lies in discipline and purpose. As Immanuel Kant taught, true morality transcends emotions and requires an unwavering commitment to universal principles. David's story goes beyond individual choices. It mirrors Batman's fight for something larger than himself, creating a better and more just world. While Batman's battles often unfold in the shadows, his actions inspire others to stand for justice, just as David's transformation became a beacon of hope for his community. And in the end, justice does not demand perfection, but asks us to act with integrity, even when it's difficult. Like Batman and David, we all face moments where anger tempts us to retaliate. However, by choosing justice, we not only transform our pain into purpose, but inspire others to rise above their own struggles. Let Batman's legacy remind us that true strength lies not in vengeance, but in the courage to seek justice and build a world grounded in hope, empathy, and resilience. Thank you for joining me on this journey of reflection. Your thoughts and perspectives bring depth to this shared exploration, so I warmly invite you to share them in the comments. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing for more humble insights into thoughtful and compassionate living. This is Philosophy, the Art of Life, and until next time, may you walk the path of justice with grace and purpose.